Good morning, friend. We are discussing about the Vision is 5 question. Let's discuss the first question. First question is related to the right against exploitation in the Constitution of India. You know very well, in Constitution of India, in the part 3 of the Constitution, fundamental rights are given. And right against exploitation is one of the fundamental right and the basic feature of the Indian Constitution that are given in part 3 of the Constitution. And the first statement regarding this right is number first, protection against arrest and detention is given in this right. Number second, prohibition of employment of children in factories. Number third, prohibition of trafficking in human being and forced labor. So you have choose the correct option from the given option in front of you are this. Let I again repeat the question for the you people for the better understanding of the question. Let's see which of the following are envisaged as the right against exploitation in the Constitution of India. The first statement is said like that: protection against arrest and detention. Second, prohibition of employment of children in factories. Number third, prohibition of traffic in human being and forced labor. So let's see the next question. Next question is related to the geography section, which they are asking about the geomorphic process. As the name suggests, geo means that is related to the geography of India, and morphic it means the changes that occurred with time. The first statement is said that the exogenic forces drive their energy mainly from within the earth, while the endogenic forces drive their energy from the atmosphere. So second statement is said, very easy statement basically. Exogenic forces basically are internal, the question is asking like that, and endogenic from the external sources, for example atmosphere, wind, like that. Number second, the action of the exogenic forces continuously elevate the part of the earth's surface, while action of the endogenic forces led to the wearing down of the relief and feeling of the depression. It means that the exogenic forces elevate the part of the earth and endogenic forces reduce it through various type of feelings and various type of movement. For example, gravity, you can say, wind, glacier, etc. And option in front of your first, second, both first and second, neither one, neither two. I again repeat the question for the better and do carefully listen this statement. Number first statement, the exogenic force drive their energy mainly from within the earth, while the endogenic forces drive their energy from the atmosphere. Second statement is said like that: the action of the exogenic forces continuously elevate the part of the earth's surface, like in endogenic forces led to the wearing down of the relief and feeling of the depression. Let's see the next question. Next question is related to the Gupta ruler made Ujjain his second capital, where his court was adorned by the scholar including Kalidasa and Amar Simha. Okay, who among the following Gupta ruler made Ujjain his second capital, where his court was adorned by scholar including Kalidasa and Amar Sami? It means that you have to tell the ruler that Kalidasa and Amar Simha also be part of their kingdom, and council of ministers, you can say, and patronize him by them, and he made the Ujjain as his second capital. And option in front of you are Kumar Gupta, Samudra Gupta, Chandragupta II and Sakand Gupta. I again repeat the question: who among the following Gupta ruler made Ujjain his second capital, where his court was adorned by scholar including Kalidasa and Amar Simha? So first option, Kumar Gupta, Samudra Gupta, Chandragupta and Sakand Gupta basically. Let's see the next question. Next question is related to the Pitt's India Act of the 1784 that led to the following establishment. Number first, establishment of the Board of Control so that they can guide the government of India at that point of time. Number second, end of the trade monopoly of East India Company in India. And option in front of you first, second, both first and second, neither one, neither two. I again repeat the question. Pitt's India Act of the 1784 led to the establishment of the Board of Control to guide the government of India. Second, end of the trade monopoly of the East India Company in India. Very easy question. Let's see the next question. Next question is related to the environment section, which they are asking about the London Convention of 1972. It is regarding the prevention of the marine pollution by dumping of the waste that are generally drained in the water bodies. Number second, Vienna Convention in 19 to protect the ozone layer. Number third, Rotterdam Convention so that we can share the responsibility in relation to the importance of hazardous chemical. And option in front of you are first, third, second and third, all of the above. I again repeat the question. London Convention is related to 1972 that are prevention and that work under the prevention of the marine pollution by dumping of the waste. Second, Vienna Convention that is related to 1985 to protect the ozone layer. Number third, Rotterdam Convention so that they promote the shared responsibility in relation to the importance of the hazardous chemical. Let's see the option. Let the correct answer of the first question. First question related to which of the following envisage as the right against exploitation in the Constitution of India. The second and third are correct. That basically that are given in 23rd and 24th article of the Indian Constitution in the part 3rd of the Constitution basically. And protect against right and detention that are given in article number 20. So that is not correct. So second and third are correct. Let's see. Right against exploitation under 23 and 24 of the Constitution. 23 prohibit traffic in human being, bekar for example, and other familiar form of the forced labor. Article 24 prohibited the employment or the employment of children below the age of the 14 year in any factory. For the effective implementation of this, Parliament also make some laws regarding them where the under 14 group of children could not work in the factories, but they can be exempted. For example, the household factories, for example, if my father, I am the age under 14 and my father is a businessman, and if I go there and work there, that are exempted from this type of prohibition. Let's see the second question. Let's see, second question is neither one neither two because they are opposite. Let's see the explanation. I not given the detailed explanation that are given by the vision, but I just give the simple RNM. See, geomorphic process, there are two forces, endogenic force and exogenic forces. Endogenic forces basically upgrade, it means that the elevate the part of the earth crust, but at the same point of time the exogenic forces try to create evenness on the earth. So that is the thing. Exogenic forces taken their energy from the atmosphere, for example in the form of the wind, gravity and glaciers, groundwater, etc. And in the form of the endogenic, if you are talking about, for example, volcano, tidal tsunami, where the pressure is come from the earth itself. So that is the type of the endogenic forces, and you can see here. Let's see the next question. Whom on the following group the ruler made Ujjain has his second capital, and he is adorned by scholar like Kalidas and Amar Simha. So Chandragupta is second because the reign of the Chandragupta saw the high watermark of the Gupta Empire. He extended the limits of the empire by marriage, alliance and conquest. Both Chandragupta exercised indirect control over the Vakataka kingdom in central India due to the death of the son-in-law and Vada Vakataka prince. With his great influence, he conquered Mathura, western Malwa and Gujarat also, and gave him control over western east coast, famous for trade and commerce. This contributed to the prosperity of Malwa and chief city Ujjain, which seems to have been the made of the second capital of Chandragupta II. So that's why he made the second capital. Let's see the next thing. Okay. Pitt's India Act of 1784 led to the establishment of the Board of Control to guide the government of India. That is correct. And of the trade monopoly of East India Company in India, that is incorrect because it's done in 1813. Right. So statement first is correct because Pitt's India Act of 1784 distinguished between the commercial and political function of the company. It allowed the court of director to manage the commercial affair, but created a new body called the Board of Control to manage the political affair, to guide the control and work of the court of director and the government of India. Thus it established a system of double government. It empowered the Board of Control to supervise and direct all operation of the civil and military government or revenue of the government possession in India. Second statement is not correct because it was through a Charter Act of 1813 which exempted monopoly, it retarded the monopoly of the East India Company. Next question is related to the London Convention, that is related 1972, that is regarding prevention of the marine pollution by dumping of the waste. Vienna Convention 1985, so that they can protect the ozone layer. Rotterdam Convention to protect the shared responsibility in relation to the importance of the hazardous chemical. So all are correct. Let's see. The Convention of the Prevention of the Marine Pollution by dumping of the waste and other matter, commonly called the London Convention, that LC 72 also, and abbreviated as a marine dumping, is an agreement so that they can control pollution of the sea by dumping, and it encourage regional agreement supplementary to the convention. So first is correct. In 1985, 28 countries of the world agreed to the Vienna Convention, that is regarding the ozone depletion. Third, if you are talking about the Rotterdam Convention, that on the prior informed consent procedure for certain hazardous chemical and pesticide. International trade is a multilateral treaty to promote shared responsibility in relation to the importance of hazardous chemical. The text of the Rotterdam Convention, the prior informed consent procedure for certain hazardous chemical and pesticide international trade, was adopted and opened for signature at the conference held in Rotterdam on 10th September 1998. So these are the question, all 5 questions we discussed. Let's see the next thing, revision of the PM Svanidhi Street Vendor Atmanirbhar Nidhi scheme of the Government of India. Let's see the first introduction of this scheme. Launched by the Ministry of Housing and Urban. Do remember this fact also in June 2020. The scheme provides affordable loans to street vendors so that they can resume their livelihood affect due to COVID-19 lockdown. So it is the type of a restoration of the businesses and household of a small person or the small simple ready wala, rickshaw wala, etc. So basically that are included in the gig economy and due to the COVID-19 lockdown. And recently Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs made an agreement with the Zomato to onboard street food vendor to its platform. So that is a good thing. Previously a similar agreement was made with Swiggy in October 2020 to empower street vendor. Zomato and Swiggy are among top most largest online food delivery platform in India. Zomato will onboard 300 street food vendors in the first phase across 6 cities, for example, Bhopal, Ludhiana, Nagpur, Patna, Raipur, Vadodara. So it is a type or the density of this type of working is found in the western part of the India. Swiggy contain Delhi, Ahmedabad, Chennai, Indore and Varanasi. So it is diversified there. source based. Key feature of the scheme is the central sector scheme is the PM Nidhi scheme, a special microcredit facility for street vendor who work with a small capital base and got adversely affected because of the COVID-19 lockdown. Who is a street vendor? Who is popularly known as a vendor, hawker, thelawalas, who ensure availability of the goods and services of the daily needs at affordable rates at the doorstep. Such goods include vegetable, fruit, ready-to-eat street food, artisan product, etc. Services include the barber, shopper, cobbler, laundry services, etc. So it is a type of a local development of the giving the product there at the doorstep, and services also in the form of the laundry services, iron services, etc. Eligibility and beneficiary who can avail this loan. Available to all street vendors engaged in vending in urban area as on before March 24, 2020. Applicable to those state, union territory which have notified rules and scheme under State Vendor Protection of Livelihood and Regulation of the State Vending Act of the 2014. Benefit. What is the benefit now? A collateral-free working loan up to 10,000 with tenure of 1 year can be given. Internet interest subsidy of 7% annual as incentive on timely repayment. So direct benefit transfer of interest subsidy amount to the beneficiary whenever for example, I pay timely repayment of the loan, then I get the direct benefit transfer services also. Cashback incentive is up to 1,200 per annum for the use of the digital transaction. Enhanced credit limit on timely early repayment of the loan. No penalty on early repayment of the loan. That is a good thing. Implementation. Small Industrial Development Bank of India SIDBI, their headquarters lies in Lucknow, is the implementation partner with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Mobile application PM Nidhi says Samriddhi for socio-economic profiling of beneficiaries and their families to link them with the central government scheme. So that is the thing. Significance क्या है इस पूरे program की? तो number first, access to more consumer on popular food tech platform and greater earning opportunities. Empowerment of street vendor and make them self-reliant. PAN and FSI registration training for app use package practice state to vendor will also be to formalize this sector. Promote behavioral changes like timely repayment and digital transaction. News today of the 10th February 2021. Supreme Court reject plea to re-examine the sedition law. So state of the art weather climate prediction model under the National Monsoon Mission now operational. India's Afghanistan sign of Shahadud Dam, that is also known as the Lalandhar Dam. International Energy Agency released the India Energy Outlook 2021. Effect of the climate change on Indian agriculture. So that is the things. The report is published here. Let's see the next thing. Okay. Today we are discussing about the Insight Daily Quiz. Let's see the first question that are of 10th February itself. Consider the following statement regarding development finance institution. The first statement is said like the development finance institution provide risk capital for economic development project mainly on commercial basis. So development finance institution provide risk capital for economic development providing mainly on commercial basis. Secondly, in India the first DFI was operationalized before the independence. So and its name is Industrial Finance Corporation. During the pre-liberalized era, India and DFI that were primarily engaged in development of industry in the country are existing. Yes, so only second are correct. Let's see the answer. The government of latest budget proposed to set up the Development Finance Institution to fund the ambitious national infrastructure pipeline. A development finance institution is also known as Development Bank of Financial Institution that provide risk capital for economic development project on non-commercial basis. During the pre-liberalized era, India had DFI, which were primarily engaged in development of industry in the country. In India, the first DFI was operationalized in 1948 with the setting up the Indian Industrial Finance Corporation. Subsequently, the Industrial Credit Investment Corporation of India, that is known as ICI, later it became a bank set up with the banking of the World Bank of 1955. Industrial Development Bank of India (IDB) came into existence in 1964 to promote the long-term finance in the infrastructure project that is quite important for the development of any country. Now, let's see the next question. Next question is related to the doctor management in India. Doctor management within definition of disaster as defined under Disaster Management Act of 2005. Number second, central government is the final authority when it comes to declaring a direct affected area. Yes, so second only correct. Doctor is generally considered the deficiency in area rainfall where an extended period, usually a season or a more, resulting in a shortage of water causing adverse impact on vegetarian animals there and people live there. There is no single legally accepted definition of the doctor because it can be anything. For example, naturally if rainfall is not enough, and for example man-made, for example if a water availability is there but that is diverted from one source to energy to utilization of the other sources, so that can also cause the drought there, but it depends upon the how much time is it void of water. There is no single legally accepted definition of drought in India. Some states resort to their own definition of drought. State government is the final authority. Do remember this fact. State government is the final authority when it comes declaring a region as a drought. The Supreme Court of India is its verdict in the Master of Swaraj Abhiyan versus Union of India stated that drought would certainly fall within the definition of the disaster as defined under the Section 2 of the Disaster Management Act of 2005. Right? Let's see the next question. Next question is related to the external financing bring in foreign capital that is useful to bridge the balance of payment apart from its utility in development expenditure. So whenever the financing coming, it help in reducing or bridging the gap between the balance of payment of the import and export. Let's see the next statement regarding this. External financing cannot be used to bridge the fiscal deficit. So that is first is correct, second is incorrect. Let's see the solution that are provided by the website. External aid, external financing is a grant or coming without interest. No better way to finance the deficit if we ignore the inflationary effect. When the domestic market has a limited amount of fund, so it is the government desire to borrow large share of its finance from the fiscal deficit. It raises the demand for fund in the market. This shoots the market interest rate for the fund and cause problem of the domestic investors. So that's why government always thinking the direction that they can take the loan from the outsider or the outside country. Let's see the next question. Next question is related to the poliomyelitis. It is a highly infectious viral disease which can affect young children. Second, the virus is transmitted by person to person and spread through the contamination water or food. Number third, with the latest development in medicine, polio disease can be cured. Number fourth, India became the first country globally to introduce the fractional doses of IPV in childhood immunization program. So you have to choose the correct option from the given option. Third is incorrect, all are correct. It is a highly viral disease, that is correct. It is transmitted person to person. Yes, viral disease to person is very easily be transferable and spread through the contamination water or food or even the air also. With the development in medicine, polio नहीं क्योर नहीं कर सकते हैं, but that can be prevented. India became the first country to that is correct. Let's see the solution that are given by the inside. Poliomyelitis is a highly infectious viral disease which mainly affects young children. This virus is transmitted by person to person, spread mainly through the fecal oral route or less frequently by common vehicle and multiplier in the intestine, where it can evade in the nervous system and can cause paralysis. So if we are not taking the vaccine of the polio or the poliomyelitis, then it can cause or hazard our nervous system and break down our nervous system. It became our मतलब पैरालाइज कर सकता है वो हमको. लेट्स सी द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. इंटरनेशनल कन्वेंशन ऑफ सिविल एंड पॉलिटिकल, यू नो वेरी वेल, United Nations Human Rights Council, in which three type of right are given as per this type of a convention. International Convention on Civil and Political Right. Which of the following right is not conferred? So right to livelihood and employment is not conferred. Right to electoral right, right for trial, right freedom of assembly, so that are given. The International Convention on Civil and Political Right is a multilateral treaty adopted by the United Nations General Assembly Resolution 2200 on December 1966. It enforces तो 1976 से इन्फोर्स हुआ था. द कन्वेंशन कमिटीज पार्टीज टू रिस्पेक्ट द सिविल एंड पॉलिटिकल राइट ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल, राइट ऑफ लाइफ, राइट टू रिलीजन एंड स्पीच एंड फ्रीडम ऑल्सो, इलेक्टोरल राइट ऑल्सो, राइट टू ड्यू एंड फेयर ट्रायल. IPC is a part of the International Bill of the Human Rights along with the International Convention on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights in the Universal Declaration of the Human Rights. IPC is monitored by the United Nations Human Rights Committee to separate the United Nations Human Rights Council, which divide regular report to state so that they can check where in which direction they are going. Let's see the next constitutional body. Let's start with the Election Commission of India. Election Commission of India, there is a Chief Election Commission of India. Though the Election Commission appointment is done by President, so there is nothing like a selection panel. Tenure of 6 or 65 years. Service condition by determined by the President. Removal done by the Supreme Court judges. As member of the Supreme Court judges, report submission is nothing like that. They cannot have some kind of report. Reappointment, no debarred from joining government, and they are not charged from the Consolidated Fund of India. Do remember this fact, quite important. Let's see the important local wind that are found around the world. For example, Chinook, Norte, blizzard in the North America. South America, if you have to Pampa and Zonda. And for example, Helm, Bora, Mistral, Levant, Von, Elstien in the eastern part of the Eurasia. Sirko, Khamsin, Hermatan, Habub, Berg, and that are found in the Africa region. Buran and Karaburan in Asia region. Brickfield and Southerly in the Australia region. Let's see the next thing. That is the important water bodies or the ocean current. For example, in Pacific Ocean, California, Peru current, and Labrador, Greenland, Benguela current in the Atlantic Ocean, Canary current also. Western Australia, West Wind Drift are in the Indian Ocean, Oyashu, California, and Peru current in the Pacific Ocean. Do remember this fact. By this, we are ending the session. Hope you like the video. Thank you so much.